Beautiful people, how are we doing? Welcome back to another video. I hope you guys are all doing well. It is a gorgeous day out here. I got my sprints in for the day, got my lift in for the day, almost hit 315 on power clean. That's gonna be coming in the near future, but this video is not about that. If you're watching this video, I'm assuming that you're anywhere from 2 months post-operation, fresh off the blade, or even 5 years post-operation. But the reason you're watching this is because, number one, if you were the former, you're concerned about getting back to 100%, and if you're the latter, you still haven't gotten to 100%, and you're wondering what it is that you're missing. You might have done the PT 3 times a week, you might have did everything you thought you could, or if you're in the early phases, you might just have a bunch of uncertainty, because I've been there before. I didn't know how things were gonna turn out, and I wanted everything on my side. I wanted to leave no stone unturned. This video is for all of you guys. I'm going to be outlining exactly how I went from knee surgery, right? Complete LCL reconstruction, ACL tear, meniscus tear after a hamstring tendon tear, to doing everything that I can do now, being the most athletic version of myself, doing weighted pistol squats, dunking a basketball, being able to sprint, do weighted backflips, all of this stuff. And it's the same exact system, the same philosophy that I used to help my clients that are anywhere from a couple months post-op to 5+ years removed from their injury. I've also had the blessing of speaking with thousands of people regarding their knee injury recovery, regarding their injury situation in general. And I want to talk about the biggest mistakes and the biggest misconceptions that I see throughout the recovery process that may be holding you back, and how you can get around them, best practices of moving forward, and give you guys actionable steps and real understanding so that you can get back to 100%, get back to doing everything you love to do, regardless of if you just recently had surgery, if you had surgery years ago and you still don't feel 100%, just watch this video, pay attention, I got you. In this video, there's gonna be 6 main things that I'll be covering that I really need you guys to consider and pay attention to. And I need you to be brutally honest with yourself. That's the only way this thing is gonna work. But I'm thinking I may get some steps in here, so I'll see you guys to go over the very first thing on this list. I was gonna head down to the trail, but I don't really feel like doing all that. I already got my sprints in, I already went to the gym, I'm just chilling here. But the first thing that we need to consider, right? We need to ask ourselves, how did we get here in the first place? If you just got surgery, why did you get hurt? And I don't want to hear, oh, well, I just cut wrong and then my knee blew up. And like, unless the Incredible Hulk grabbed you, threw you against a wall, or you got hit by a bus, your injury was preventable, right? Everyone wants to externalize responsibility. Everyone wants to externalize the reason they got hurt. But seriously, ask yourself, did you do any bulletproof work up to that point? Did you bulletproof your foot and ankle complex? Did you even work on your tibs, your soleus, your hips to just reinforce everything in your leg to prevent you from getting hurt? Were you working long duration isometrics to promote your tendon health? 99.9% of the time, the answer to that is going to be no. We need to ask ourselves why we got hurt. And it might not have been related to, let's say you were the most prepared person exercise-wise, right? For me, personally, I got hurt because I injured my hamstring and I rushed the rehab process and I rushed back into sport like an idiot before I was ready. This caused me to then injure my knee because so many other aspects of my body were overcompensating. And so going into my knee recovery, if I didn't take heed of this, if I didn't understand why I got hurt in the first place, I would have repeated the same exact mistake I would have made with my hamstring, which is rushing the rehab, rushing back into training. And if I did that again with my knee, I would be willing to bet I would get another knee surgery because of it. And it's amazing to me how I'll speak with people that are 2 knee surgeries deep, 3 knee surgeries deep. And I ask them, yeah, like, what do you think has really been causing it? Oh, well, I just, you know, I get back to sport and then I cut weird. And then this one, it's like, they never want to take into account the fact that, brother, if you had 3 knee surgeries, that means you had 2 opportunities to rehab, 1 opportunity to prehab, and you fucked up all of them. And you're not going to take accountability for that? No wonder you keep repeating the same mistake over and over. If you have 2 or 3 knee surgeries, multiple injuries, what did you do to fuck up the first time? What did you do to fuck up the second time? And if you are still sitting there externalizing this, you're only going to get hurt again, or you're going to be handicapped for the rest of your life in a sense of not being able to do everything that you want to do at 100% capacity. I'm able to take accountability. I know that the reason I hurt my hamstring was because I overtrained, I sprinted, I lifted, and then I did more conditioning, I strained it, and instead of resting it, I continued to push it, leading to a tear. I know that I caused my knee injury because instead of rehabbing properly and building the foundation properly with my hamstring, I rushed the rehab trying to get back to 100%, causing myself to get hurt again. But if you can't recognize why you got hurt to begin with, and like I said, you didn't get fucking picked up by Superman and dropped to planet Earth, you're already lost, you're gonna get hurt again. You must ask yourself, why did you get hurt? And if you're someone that's 2, 3, 4 years removed from their injury, you need to ask yourself, why are you not at 100%? Did you half-ass rehab? Did you only do 2 to 3 PT sessions for the first couple months and then just fuck off? Did you not do any isometrics? Did you only focus on bilateral movements? I need you to get honest with yourself. Pause this video right now and just ponder. why did I actually get hurt? If you don't ask yourself this question, why am I still not at 100% years after the injury? If you don't ask yourself this question, if you are unable to take accountability, nothing else will work. You will not get back to 100%. The first step is understanding why. Why did you get hurt if you're early on post-operation? Why are you still not at 100% if you're later on, a couple years removed from operation? The next thing I need you to ask yourself is, why are knee surgeries generally regarded as the end of the line for most people? Why are they viewed as death sentences for athletes? Why do people hear the word knee surgery and then they immediately think, yeah, this person's not getting back to 100%? Why is that the case? What is the common denominator even for professional athletes? Think critically here. What is the common denominator that leads most people to having the same recovery with only a few outliers, a few exceptions, like myself and like a few others, like Ben Patrick, the ATG guy, right? What is the common denominator for most people? A standardized physical therapy rehab system. A standardized system, a system that is generally the same from the bottom all the way up to the top, meaning for regular people, all the way to professional athletes. It's the same 2-3 times a week. You come in, you do your leg press, you do your basic exercises while 84-year-old Betty is in the corner and you're thinking to yourself, why the fuck am I in here with the fucking senior citizens when I'm trying to get back and be athletic? That is the common denominator. When I told you guys I had spoken to thousands of people, I had the blessing of working for a third-party knee rehabilitation company. And there I spoke with hundreds of people who had undergone the traditional rehab process. They're like, yeah, my PT cleared me. I went 2 to 3 times a week for a couple months, but I still don't feel 100%, but my PT cleared me. It's like, no fucking shit. You're doing the exact same shit that everyone else is doing, wondering why you're getting what everyone else gets. Even professional athletes, there are a few that come to mind. Jonas Griffith is a linebacker. He was on the Broncos, he's on the Colts. Jarek Reed, a defensive back for the Seahawks and on the Titans. I had the pleasure of speaking with these gentlemen during my career at this knee rehabilitation center. And even these guys who had the best of the best physical therapists, NFL grade support, were not at 100%. Why were they seeking third-party help if physical therapy is all you need? Why is that the case? Ask yourself, seriously. If the common denominator is the standardized physical therapy system and something that even NFL athletes can't recover from, or they acknowledge that they need third-party help, what do you think you need to do? You need to do more. Regular physical therapy will not get you back to 100%. It will get you back to daily life. It is good enough to get cleared. But I've spoken with so many people who got cleared and are not even at 100% capacity nor 100% confidence. If you guys want to know a fun fact, I didn't go to PT once during my knee surgery recovery. I had such a bad experience with my hamstring tendon that I was like, fuck this shit, I'm doing it on my own. I went to the physical therapist office 1 or 2 weeks after surgery to get the bandage removed and do like the initial like knee bending, whatever. After that, they did not see me again, and look at me now. I navigated this recovery without the standardized physical therapy system, but I didn't just fuck off, right? I had real structure. I had a real system. I was doing banded isometrics 4, 5, 6 times a week for the first few months. But that's beside the point. Look at a guy like Ben Patrick, the ATG dude. He had multiple knee surgeries, and what was the thing that really got him back to doing what he loves to do? It wasn't traditional physical therapy. If anything, that failed him because he had to continuously get surgeries. It was his own system. He came up with a system, he abided by it, was consistent with it, and he did way more than just a standardized physical therapy. That is the differentiator. If you want to get what everyone else gets, if you're okay with being below 100%, you can just stick with your physical therapy office with 84-year-old Betty in the corner and continue to get average results. If you want to get back to 100%, you have to acknowledge you need more. I recognized it. I made the change. I got above average results. Guys like Ben Patrick recognized it. They made the change. They got above average results. Professional athletes like Jonas and Jarek, they recognized that even having the best physical therapist in the world, they got additional support. They got the outcome they were looking for. Now that you understand your mistakes, now that you've been honest with yourself, you've taken accountability, you recognize where you've fallen before so that you don't fall there again, and now that you understand what the common denominator is that gives people the average results even though they're seeking above average results, you now know how to not repeat the same mistake and exactly what you need to do so that you don't get average results. This is important. This is the mental foundation that you guys must have before learning about anything else. Now, I need you to boldly project what your goals are for your recovery. Don't be on some humble shit with like, if I could just get back to jogging, that would be, no. Be honest with yourself. Deep down, what is your goal for this recovery? What is it that you truly desire in a picture perfect world 6 months from now? Where exactly do you want to be with this recovery? Because if you don't have that goal in sight, you cannot hit a goal that you cannot see. We need the goal to anchor to so that we can reverse engineer the process. For me personally, after my knee surgery recovery, I was like, bro, a mission success would be if I was able to get back and just dunk a basketball again. I set that goal, I kept that vision high, and by 5 months post-operation, I was able to do pistol squats, I was able to dunk off my vertical jump, I was able to dunk regularly. This is all documented on social media. You guys can check this out if you want, but I set that goal and I relentlessly attacked it by reverse engineering it with a proper system and proper structure. So now that you have your goal, now that you understand your past mistakes so you don't repeat them, and now that you understand the common denominator that keeps people at average instead of where they want to be, now we can talk about the actionable steps. Some of the biggest mistakes that I see today, especially from folks who are coming to me to help, especially from folks that I work with my one-on-one coaching, is that they don't address every single muscle in their legs. They leave stones unturned. They don't fully activate everything, and that's why they don't get back to full capacity. What do I mean by this? I'm not just talking about rebuilding your quads, your hamstrings, your glutes, the obvious ones. I'm talking about your hip flexors, your abductors, your adductors, your tibialis, your soleus, your foot and ankle complex. Guys, your leg is like a bridge. If you have one weak link in the bridge, the entire thing collapses. And no, for the hips, 90-90s do not suffice. Leg lifts do not suffice. The abductor and adductor, what people now call the sus machines, do not suffice. I'm talking real isometric isolation work to not just strengthen, but bulletproof and reinforce the connective tissue in the tendons there. Again, 99.9% of people are not doing this, and if they are doing some of it, they're not doing all of it. We must be bulletproofing our entire leg from the ankle all the way up to the hip, leaving no stone unturned. Why is this the case? After surgery, after injury, our brain will shut down that brain muscle connection to a bunch of areas in our legs, not just our quads, but you know about the quad. Your quad definitely atrophied after surgery. Your quad atrophied after surgery, but that's not the only muscle. This same principle applies to every other muscle I just listed, your hip flexors, abductors, adductors, everything below the knee as well. We can't just only give love and attention to the quad. We have to treat every muscle like they atrophied because they did. And if you have imbalances, if you have improper activation in these areas, overcompensation will ensue, whether from the quad, from the hamstring, and that's how more aches and pains arise. We need to bulletproof the entire system so that the entire system is not victim to compensation patterns, it doesn't have any imbalances, and we can scale properly. This is the foundation. We can't build anything on top of a shitty foundation with cracks in it, cracks being underactive hip flexors, imbalanced quads, imbalanced foot and ankle complexes. We need everything on point. I don't care if you're 2 months post-op or 5 years post-op like some of my clients are. You must start with the banded isometrics, and not just banded isometrics once a week. I'm talking 4, 5, 6 times a week, as much as you can. Frequency is going to be your friend. Banded isometrics are not like weightlifting. It's not going to drain your central nervous system. It's not going to leave you taxed and lead to injury. Frequency will be your friend with the right tools. The banded isometrics can and should be done 4, 5, 6 times a week, especially when you're trying to rebuild like you guys that are watching this are. I have a video on them on my YouTube channel already. The biggest rule of thumb is to not push through any pain. As long as you let pain be your guide, you can't go wrong. Pain is feedback. If you feel pain, back off of the movement or simply regress it to an area that's comfortable for you. But banded isometrics for everyone is mandatory. If you're early in your recovery, 2, 3, 4, 5 months post-operation, you must do the banded isometrics 4 to 5 times, 6 times a week for at least 2 months. If you're 5+ years removed from your surgery, same exact deal. Minimum of 2 months, 4, 5, 6 times a week, tons of frequency, tons of activation, not pushing through pain, executing it properly, and for the proper execution, watch my banded isometric video. Doing this consistently for 2 months will lay the foundation properly. This will make sure that you are fully activated from the ground up. This will eliminate all imbalances from the ground up. This will make sure that you are fortified and strengthening your tendons and connective tissue from the ground up, leaving no stone unturned, assuming you do it properly. This work is not exciting. This work is not glamorous. You're not lifting heavy weights. You're not jumping high. You're not running fast. But if you fall in love with this work, everything that I just listed will come so easily. I fell in love with this work. I got lost in this work. I looked up and out of nowhere, 5 months post-op, I was able to dunk again. Out of nowhere, 5 months post-op, able to do a pistol squat again. Fast forward another few months, out of nowhere, just able to power clean 275 and do all these things because I built the foundation. These banded isometrics are not just rehab work. This is shit I still do to this day to stay athletic, to stay bulletproof, and to stay performing at my best self. This work is not a joke. I need you to take it seriously. I need you to fall in love with it. That's what I did, and I got the results that I got. If you want something similar, you have to fall in love with this work. Put your ego to the side, put your pride to the side, and do the boring, redundant, monotonous work. It will lead you to where you're trying to go. Once you've done the banded isometrics for a minimum of 2 months, 4, 5, 6 times a week, now we can progress into strength work. But do not even concern yourself with bilateral strength. I don't want to hear you doing bilateral back squat, bilateral leg press, meaning using both of your legs. Because here's the thing, guys, if you're a couple months post-operation, or if you're years post-operation still dealing with pain, not at 100%, you can't do bilateral work because your imbalances will continue to hide behind the other good leg. Not only that, the imbalance will worsen and you're only going to put yourself at risk of another injury. You're going to be overcompensating with your other leg. You're going to be worsening your imbalances. What we need to worry about is unilateral work, single leg work. We need to build unilateral strength capacity and we need to build unilateral mobility. We're going to build unilateral strength capacity through slow eccentric strength work. A Smith machine split squat, 5 seconds down on the eccentric, controlling it, making sure you're bulletproofing yourself through the entire movement. You're not rushing it. You're feeling where your body has more difficulty. A slow 5-second eccentric single leg RDL on the landmine with extra support. You're controlling the movement. You're improving your tissue's capacity to absorb force and you're exposing weakness between both of your legs. The same exact principle is applied to mobility. A 5-second eccentric ATG split squat to regain confidence in that deep knee flexion, to lengthen the hip flexors, to bulletproof yourself from the ground up again. One of the worst mistakes I see people make is that they're not at 100%, but all they do, the majority of the work that they do is bilateral. Unilateral for them is just a cherry on top and they wonder why they're not getting better. No. The cherry on top of anything should be bilateral work and the majority of the cake needs to be unilateral. It must be your main focus. If it hasn't been, no wonder you still have imbalances. No wonder you're still dealing with pain. Oh, well, I'm doing leg press and back squat and I can back squat a lot, but you need to dial in the unilateral work. If you need guidance on what strength work specifically to do, watch my 6-week protocol. In the middle-ish of that video, I'll go over the strength work and the mobility work that you need to build back to 100%. It's not everything, but I don't want to overwhelm you guys. It's everything that you need. It's the essentials. Progress with this strength work for a month, 2 months minimum, again, while still doing the banded isometrics. Notice that even when we progress to the strength and mobility work, we don't abandon the foundation, we simply build on top of it. So now that you're working the strength and mobility, we still do the banded isometrics. We still are doing the banded isos 4, 5, 6 times a week. Now we're just doing strength and mobility 3, 4 days on top of it as tolerable, again, without pushing through pain, allowing pain to be our guide. The last step is the bridge back to athleticism. The problem that most people make is that they don't fully know how to drive their vehicle yet, meaning they're not 100% confident, and they jump right on the highway. They jump right back into sport. They jump right back into crazy weightlifting, running, etc. But guys, you don't even have your license yet. You're not even 100% confident. We need to make sure you take your license test before jumping right back onto the highway. Our license test, after 2 months of the banded isos and another 2 months of building the strength work, mobility work, will be introducing light plyometrics, pogo jumps, chair jumps, depth jumps, because as we incorporate these jumps, we're acclimating our body to athletic movements again, and we're able to feel where we may be deficient. Do we have an issue absorbing force when we land during the depth jumps? Do we feel a bit of weakness in our foot and ankle complex during pogos? This is our bridge back to athleticism. It's like us testing the waters, checking the temperature of the water, because we can gauge this feedback and then reattack the foundation accordingly if we have any weak links. Not to mention, this is going to reacclimate all of your tendons and tissues to being able to absorb force again, be able to produce and redirect force, getting you acclimated to back everything you love doing. The biggest mistake that I see is people don't have this acclimation period. They don't have this bridge back to athleticism. They jump right into the deep end of the pool, they get hurt again, they worsen their injuries, they're dealing with more pain because you jumped right into the deep end instead of wading in and testing the waters. You don't even know how deep it is. You must acclimate your body first. This acclimation period is the bridge from where you were to getting back to where you need to be. It'll tell you where your deficiencies are. It will improve your confidence in absorbing, redirecting, and producing force in a dynamic sense with light plyometrics, and it will prepare your body for what is to come. But guys, if you can master these 6 things, first, asking yourself why you got hurt or why you're not at 100%. Second, acknowledging the common denominator that keeps most people below 100%. Third, asking yourself clearly what you want from this recovery, boldly projecting so that you can reverse engineer it. Fourth, establishing the foundation with the banded isometrics. Fifth, building strength and mobility with slow eccentrics unilaterally so you get rid of your imbalances, you build tissue capacity. And sixth, bridging the gap from where you are to athleticism with light plyometrics, gauging where your deficiencies are, you will be golden. This was the exact framework that I used to rebuild my body to beyond 100% after knee surgery. This is the exact framework that I give to my clients, whether they're like my client Danny, like 11 months post-op, or my client Solomon, who's 5+ years removed from his injury. This is the formula. This is the proven system. If you can master this, you will be 100%. Knee surgery was truthfully one of the best things to ever happen to me. It was such a character builder. It was the biggest opportunity I had to showcase who I truly was and overcome this adversity, and I've learned so much in the process. I've learned how to bulletproof my body from the ground up. I've learned how to bet on myself. I've learned how to have a goal and believe in it and strive all the way through. I've learned how to service my body and make sure I stay healthy through the ups and downs of recovery. And most importantly, I've shown myself that anything is possible with the right mindset, the right system, and hard work. If you can embody this, if you can internalize this, nothing can stop you. You will always be able to serve your body, and no fucking injury will ever define you. You define you. How do you respond? How do you react? I hope you guys got some value from this video. I hope you learned something. Leave a like, comment, subscribe if you did. If you feel like you need more advanced help with your recovery, I'll put a link to book a call to see if one-on-one coaching is even a good fit for you here in the description. I'll put my Instagram in the description as well, where I post daily content, daily stories, and just overall more value there as well. You guys can always stay in the loop. But that's all I got for you guys today. I'll see you in the next one. Don't let knee surgery be a big, scary thing. It really is not that difficult with the right system, the right structure, and the right mindset. Keep going, keep crushing, never give up. Love you guys. Peace.